So if we just start slowing the frames down, look at Earth. I mean, this one I always have to laugh. Where did Earth go? I mean, you got Mercury that looks like, Venus. I mean, listen, I understand, the illumination and etc. But still, it looks like Earth's light just went out. It's like, all right, I don't think I want to see what's coming. But watch when it continues to go in there. And I think, there it is. Just, it gets even bigger. Right here at the end. Look at that. Now that's that CME. This was on the 18th, and I don't remember a particular CME being released, but, I could be wrong. And, it's quite an eruption. It's the Earth. Look what it does to the Earth.
Lights it up like a Christmas tree.
Exactly. And then...
I thought there's one more, wasn't there?
Yeah, one more coming in here right before it goes out of frame. Yeah, so.
Did Mercury explode or something, or
I don't know.
Or did I? Hey, listen, all bets are off, baby. Tonight, I'm gonna go with total.
Well, hey, Steve, you do have some footage of the difference in the moon size, correct?
Difference in the moon size.
The SDO.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So here's our friend back again. Do you have that pulled up?
I could pull that up instantly, and I can't wait to smear it in all my trolls' faces.
All right, I'll just show one other thing. So this came from
take your time. Take your time.
On my channel, and I had your name, but I don't. I apologize. I don't have it here in my notes, but I will get you credit for it, and we'll get you full recognition on it. But check this out, guys. So this is from the observatory in Hawaii. And I'm assuming that's the volcano, because if not, that's a big mothership. I'm just saying,
Yeah, that's.
Now watch this, folks. I think that those are the city lights down below with the marine, with the cloud layer. That's what I'm assuming.
Fair enough.
So, Steve, you showed us a picture a while ago, right, from Germany?
That is correct.
Okay. So watch, and I didn't even know this, folks. I didn't know that Steve was even going to have this.
No, and I didn't know Wayne was going to have this. Because we're working in the cosmic dimension.
So we can see stars that beyond we are count, but yet from the ISS and other satellites we can. So look at that. I'll stop it right there. Look familiar. What is that?
The same thing we were looking at in Germany.
Yeah.
Same.
Is it closer? Is it now in a, I don't know, is the orbit becoming more concentric, being pulled in? I don't know, but let's just finish playing this out.
Jeez.
I know.
Look at that.
Funny how this stuff is.
See that, Wayne?
Huh?
Stop that. Do you see that, like the X of stars that's underneath of that almost line up?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so nothing to see here, right?
Wayne was trying to slip that by.
Now watch this.
Not on my watch.
That's not the moon.
Oh, that's our second. Okay.
Stop it, Wayne, please. Isn't that Orion's belt there too, just for the record?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
Okay, so
Wow.
What's the year of this again?
8/14/2012.
All right. Thank you.
Now look at the lens flare. I guess that's what we're seeing. And I'm assuming it's coming off of here, I guess. But who knows?
Who knows?
But doesn't this look familiar, guys?
Man, it almost.
I'm just saying. Now, what's coming up? Let's just stop it right there. I don't know. Seems to be taking up a pretty good size of the horizon.
There's that.
And then,
Yeah.
here's our sun. So
Whatever.
anyway, good video. Thank you, and I'll get you credit. I feel so embarrassed. So anyway, there, my friend. There you go.
Good footage.
Yeah.
I've heard that there is up to three stars that are in our solar system. So,
Well, that's
that
what
was
I should say.
and not only that, but that wasn't that the same year that I just seen a video the other day about the magnetosphere and everything like went down for almost a whole day.
Yep.
Back in March of that year.
It was a strange year, much like what we're seeing now. Well, there we go.
So we keep looking at the meteor detection, and we're catching these blips and blaps, but we're not seeing the big asteroid strike yet. It's September 23rd, Friday. We haven't seen anything that I could point to say, yeah, it's here.
I haven't seen anything.
So I just wanted to give you a quick update on that. But what I was really excited to show you guys was sometimes NASA just doesn't clean up all their images. This was a lunar transit for 2007. SDO, ba, 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 ba.
The moon has grown.
Now, Steve, you do have one where we took all the heat, right?
I do.
One that we took it in the shorts about. And NASA came out with a special press release and said, this is the moon and this is the Earth.
I know, right?
Yeah, right.
Well,
listen, if NASA says it, I mean, that's just like God, announcing it. So,
Now we got to ask what the hell that thing is that just went in front of the sun. I mean.
Well, this is the Mo Fine look. You can see it on Saturday morning on the reruns of Larry and Curly. But this is Mo. This is Mo. I'm calling this the Mo look. And this is an obfuscation of the Kool-Aid they served to us last night.
Thank you, sir.
No. It's in science mode, remember? Science mode.
Exactly. It's in science mode. So, Steve, take it back, brother. But there you go. Come on.
Oh, no. I can't. I mean, again, catatonic shock. Total catatonic shock.
And here's one I never have quite understood. So, this is Jupiter. You look at that in comparison to what they're showing us. So, I'm not quite buying it, guys. Here's another one.
Yeah.
So, explain.
I remember that one. Yeah, I remember those.
So, let me see. I just want to put this on the record, gentlemen. So, they were trying to hand our butts to us, explaining to us that the reason why you see this is that it's because of the spatial difference between the moon and the sun, and that's why you can have it completely covering up. I'm trying to do my Jamie Hyman impression. But yet, we have evidence that shows just the opposite. So, who's the liar here?
Or the sun shrunk.
Huh, well, there you go. I'll take that. That's just good enough. Or is this another object other than what's in the inner solar system?
Wow.
Yeah. if you don't say if this is not the moon, if this is the moon, then what did they do? Move the camera, or did they move Earth and the moon? You know, I don't know.
I don't know. I do not know.
All right, I'm going to go back and have a chocolate almond.
I think you deserve a chocolate almond.
Well, I do too. Thank you.
All right. Well, while I got you guys here, I wanted to say that we're getting the big halo, and it seems to be growing and growing into an eye shape. Remember how we usually have the big halo, and then we'll have the light coming out just from the sides of the red area of it? Now we're starting to see it
reaching that.
Yeah, elongate.
Well, I guess Horus is coming back, huh? Look at that.
I know.
The Eye of Isis.
Oh, who was it that got the message from space that said the Son of God cometh?
Who was that? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll have to look into that, Steve.
Well, no, it's easily researched, you guys. But
are you seeing the actual another halo starting from the top of that one too?
No, actually, what I am seeing is like there is a Saturn ring going right through the middle.
Let's see if we can maybe
turn the gamma. Yeah, there you go, Mr. Olson. See what I'm saying? Now, if you can turn that gamma down, look at there it is. You can see it's faintly. You see that line?
Yeah.
This line.
Look at this guy. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
This line.
Look at this. You know, Olson, I swear people are going to think we're sandbagging them by pulling these things out.
Well, I can't say
we just have to pull out of the bag today.
No, these are so I've been catching up on images from the last couple of days. I had a big backlog, and these are among the best ones.
By the way, Steve,
many.
I have a lot of our viewers who have asked me to tell you to please answer your email.
Oh my God! Can you guys? And you know what? I try to answer every one of them. Guys, I really do.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, this is good though.
Yeah, I want to put you guys, but thank you for saying that. And I apologize if they can't answer your email.
Oh, listen, I'm just giving you a hard time. I told them I'd do it.
I know. And I tell the people I'm really sorry. But this is a growing organization. I think that I just love the flow of information. We eventually get to every email. I'm still looking at some of the old archives from back in July yet. Looking at and just picking apart videos like this because, like Jake and I were talking about today, Wayne, it's like it's forcing us to go back and look at old images as we learn more and more about what's going on.
Hey, Steve, that sun is a hexagon.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it. That's a hexagon.
I think you're right.
I know I'm right. Look at that.
And this was recent too, wasn't it?
There it is. You almost had it there a second. It really, when you adjusted, what were you working with there?
It's contrast right now.
Yeah, the other way. Yeah, you can actually see it. That's weird. But that's a hexagon.
Yes, it is.
Oh, we were talking about with Jeff P. last night.
I know. It's all, like I said, the dots are coming together. It's not a matter that we're smarter or than any average other person. It's just the fact that we have the blessing of working with a lot of people that are doing great work.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And we are willing to share and work with each other. And I just wanted to mention that new brewer channel that Scott put together, and he's been giving us and collaborating with our stuff, and he's been kind enough to show me stuff, and I just wanted to kind of reach out and just say everybody to go check his channel out. I'll leave the link below. Here's just again, these are just random pictures where people are seeing the optical illusion of planets up in the sky. But as I think I agree with Jeff Keegan, what he was saying, guys, is what we're seeing is that we cannot get a proper focal point based on the way that we're looking at these objects.
You know, it's just getting to the point now when I look up into the sky, of which we all do very often. Unfortunately, I've been spending so much time in my office that the sky is different. I'm just telling you, it's different. And I'm putting this out there to all the viewers, and tell me if this is just me, but I'm out there today mowing the yard, right?
Yep.
And we had the autumnal equinox just yesterday. Here in the Denver area, I think it was like, 10:36, 10:38 a.m. But I'm standing out there, and my neighbor is looking, and I'm looking at the sun. This is around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and the sun just seemed to be lower in the eastern horizon. And it seems to be setting much further to the southwest than it should. Now, here's what's really odd, guys. I swear, at the beginning of the spring equinox, I put in indelible marker on my patio where north and south was perfectly aligned to where my compass was showing it. Today, my compass is showing a further pull of about 26, 27 degrees further to the northwest. And I swear the sun just seems to be further south. But I don't know. Anyway, observation, guys.
Nope. Good one. Good one.
Yeah, last summer I remember putting up a fence in my backyard, and I remember getting close to sunset. I had to stop. The sun was blinding me in the face. And just remembering what part of the yard I was standing in, I believe you're right, Wayne. I think it is more south because it's not hitting me in the face like it did where I remember last summer putting the end of that fence together.
Yeah. So we had one person. Who was it that sent us that article? I think, I don't know if they wanted to remain anonymous, but we now have the white paper from the great state of Wisconsin that has actually documented that on December 6, 2006, the Earth, in fact, tilted. And so I've been thinking about this more and more. So they've had over a decade now to readjust all the satellites. And then I began to start doing some research. Have you guys done any type of research into how many satellites have been launched within the last 4 years, primarily from private organizations?
It seems like you hear about one every week.
Yeah, it's quite amazing what's taking place. So I think what's happened is that they're populating next-gen satellites, particularly positioning satellites, to begin to compensate for the magnetic anomalies that are sure to begin to increase.
And again, this is the this video, by the way, the video that we made, that's behind this.
Right there. Yep.
Yep. This is the paper. Let's go back a little bit more.
Can you pull that full screen? I mean, it's a great paper, by the way. I've read it, and it's fascinating. Well worth the read. It will convince you.
Yeah, and I'll leave the link in today's show again for people to see it. And again, whoop, whoop, it was a Wisconsin professor. I hope he's not dead. It's not even a joke anymore. Anyway, we'll have the link in there. But this is the two photographs that were his main exhibit in his white paper. I also read it. Basically, it shows between 1715 Zulu, which is a way of saying Greenwich Mean Time, on December 6th. Between then and 1900, the Earth clearly shifted, and it's amazing.
Well, another good question to ask as well is, why don't we get to see any pictures from the South Pole or from the North Pole?
Are you trying to reach out to flat earthers right now or something? Is that what?
No. All I'm saying
Or
is,
Hollow Earth.
okay.
The hollow
Jake
earthers.
Riley, come on down. You get to play. So,
Woo-hoo! I'm going to go into the Mammoth Cave.
so the point is, you have to ask yourself, why is that? The other question I want to put out there, why is it that it is illegal for any citizen of any country to go to Antarctica? If you're not on the list and you want to get up on your rowboat, they're likely to shoot you. My question is, why? Now, I know someone will say, well, you can take summer excursions down. You absolutely can. But I'll guarantee you this, you ain't going past, where it's going to put the ropes on.
Right.
Here's a picture from the 16th that corroborates the object going into the sun, by the way. Just thought that'd be interesting.
Is that a comet? Or is that...
I saw the same thing on the 18th and 19th, and it just kept moving this way, and it was orbiting with the sun, and it just got closer and closer, and now it disappeared.
Was it orbiting in a retrograde, or was it
No,
following?
it was like falling this way as the sun was going down. It just kept going like this, but it was not in any kind of an orbit to this. It almost seemed like it was orbiting something else.
Okay.
And
I've seen something similar to that a couple days ago, Steve, and there was one on each side of the sun. Yep.
So I thought that was interesting. Picture of that. And then this is at 9:20 at 2:36 when we lost Mercury. The very moment we lost Mercury on core satellites. Yeah, it just got weird. Just one frame. Check out this this lens flare that this guy got on his backyard from the sun. Have you ever seen anything like that before, boys?
Can't say that I have.
That's the weirdest lens flare ever. Don't you think, Wayne? Does that not look like our shield? Is what I'm trying to say. Great.
Yes, Steve.
Or because of the... Okay, hear me out, guys. Keep that up, Steve. Keep that right there just for a second. So here's just a wild rabbit trail. So what if, due to the increase in the shift of light, that what our cameras are now picking up is another life form that's now being affected as well in our atmosphere? Because I can see the lens flare. It's the white dot there in the center.
Right.
I'm just throwing it out there, guys. Listen.
No, because if you go back, and anybody that's been around conspiracy theories for any length of time would have remembered the video in the early 2000s, I want to say, when they deployed from the space shuttle along basically just a long filament. And they were going to basically drag this thing through the atmosphere and see how much voltage they could generate. Well, obviously they didn't read any of their Tesla textbooks, because that thing fried off the shuttle immediately when they deployed it. Remember that? It just went zap. It basically just completely plasma fried it right off.
Yeah.
But floating into space, and then all of a sudden these creatures, that's the only way I can describe it. They didn't look like artificial spacecraft. They didn't look like anything like that. It was basically creatures, huge creatures that were passing in front of and around it, because it was collecting energy and glowing. It almost looked like they were curious animals,
Yeah. I mean, you have to really come into it. Come on. I mean, the lens flares are becoming much more. I mean, I think if Andy Warhol was alive, he would make a fortune painting interpretive art just on this phenomenon alone.
I know it. Lens flare, whatever you want to say, it's weird, it's strange. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah. All right. So, this is what we do, folks. And, we really this is why I enjoy doing this, Steve and Jake, is that we can come in here and you can have the most harebrained idea. But you know what? I did a project for a couple of years ago. I was at a conference, and we did a workshop of different scenarios, what happened when the grids go, how you're going to get cash to the people. My point is, in that discussion group, we had the craziest ideas, but when we began to refine those ideas down, those wildest ideas, elements from them became what eventually became our winning submission into solving the problem that the Federal Reserve had put to us. So anyway, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I want to do and start doing a new segment on Friday nights. I propose to the team to do a new segment on Friday nights called Awesome Emails from Subscribers, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. And
All right.
so picture here, don't picture my screen. I'll put in different pictures that support what we're talking about. First one comes from Laura Lee. Wanted to let you know I'm subscribed to the alerts for the Weather Network. Twice today, I had an emergency alert test notice sent to me in my email. Thought it was strange considering that a lot of other areas received them.
Yeah.
Okay. Next email. And again, the reason I'm reading these to you folks is because we're looking at this this recent hubbub, and really, quite frankly, convergence of huge cataclysmic world events. We've got financial issues in the world, the fiat currency and the end of the fractional reserve program, and probably the collapse of Western banking as we know it. We have wars and rumors of wars, as we know. Saudi Arabia never stood down. They still have 350,000 troops, 220,000 tanks sitting in the desert there, waiting to do God knows what. We've got Israel being attacked, entangling Syria. It's just all these different things that are coming together. It doesn't necessarily have to be about Nibiru or an asteroid. But we just think it's pretty funny that as soon as we started hearing about asteroids, we also started hearing about EMS and emergency broadcast system alerts. And really, Wayne, it started with you.
Yeah, who'd have ever thought? I mean, I have to tell you, I'm flabbergasted and number one, I'm also kind of relieved that it wasn't just me seeing it. And I'm getting the same thing that people also. What was this? Is this a precursor? Is this a signal? Steve, you and I were talking the other day, that movie called The Golden Mile. Is this some sort of code? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. What got me was the fact that what I saw said specifically, this was not a test. This is an actual alert, and that's what got my attention.
Yeah, and when I used to work, when I was in the military, we would have exercise conditions, and then we'd have real world conditions. And it was pretty important that you labeled and made sure that when it was an exercise condition, you sent out the exercise message. And if it was the real world situation, that you sent out the real world. And if you mess that up, you could start a war or something, Wayne. I mean, seriously, bad stuff.
Seriously, yeah.
And so here's another one. This one's from Pi. Hi, Pi. Hey, Steve, just wanted to let you know that I saw the EAS system alert on my televisions in Washington State. I had turned on Pandora through my Comcast Xfinity system about 2 minutes before it happened. Music went off. The typical noises ensued. So I turned my television back on, since I use an AV processor to play audio, etc. And I saw that after the alert was for West Virginia and other areas on the East Coast, I thought it was a bit weird and actually looked it up today, thinking maybe it had to do with the ending of the emergency alert regarding flooding over that area. Possible reason.
Excellent. Wow. Yeah.
Kathy from Winnipeg here. Hi, Kathy. Don't have Comcast, but what is weird is that our EBS was tested at least twice the other day, and that's the emergency broadcast system in Canada. That would have been Wednesday. I saw one in the morning and the other one in the late evening. Holy crap.
So do you think there's some foundation to, there's always dates, and I'm just not a person who buys into dates, but I do buy into events, and so I've been hearing something about an October surprise, and is it possible that what we're seeing is either an event that can't be stopped, one that's being manufactured? Yeah, there you go. Thank you, sir. Would you get out of my head, man?
Dude, everything you're talking about, I already was looking at right before the show.
That's what I'm saying, man. It just
weird.
Yeah.
So I'm taking like.
It's like that expression. If a schizophrenic decides to commit suicide, isn't that a hostage situation?
Wow.
All right, let's get back to focus. So what's going on here? I don't know.
The one thing that really drives me crazy, and it's been bugging me, but whenever I do a video on Sechi, and I kind of hold back, but this is public information that people can view for themselves. I can't believe that we've been following this now for over a month, and not one peep about a mysterious object being captured on the Sechi cameras. Not one peep at all. I just don't understand why there's not an explanation, like, to mainstream. I understand they're not going to share this with us, but I don't get why people are not raising more attention. Like, what is that? Seriously, ask that question. What is that? Why are we not getting a clear answer on what this is? We're getting theories and probabilities, but we can't get an official answer, and that really bugs me the most.
Yeah, I don't know either, Jake.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on a rant, but it's
no.
That's the most disturbing part about this entire thing that we've been doing, is that there is no clear, real answer, and nobody is even thinking about it or even talking about it or trying to give a real answer about this. They're just hoping it gets shoved under the rug.
Yeah, and I marvel at this, and I just want to say, I want to put this out, Steve, and just to put this out, I get a lot of comments on my channel about a yellow rose of Texas, right, Steve? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Me too, Wayne.
Yeah, I just want to put this out there for everyone. Whoever the individual is, phenomenal work. I acknowledge that. Steve acknowledges it. Jake acknowledges it. If the person is still alive, they haven't posted anything, we would love to talk to them. But I would encourage people to take a look at what this person has assimilated. It's some phenomenal footage, and it backs this up.
Yep.
It does. These were early, just to kind of fill everybody in on this, and I'll leave the link to Yellow Rose of Texas below in the comments. But Yellow Rose of Texas got on this thing of watching the satellite cameras like we do. Only she did it a couple years ago. And she was capturing phenomenal images of similar craft or phenomenon as we have been capturing on the Sechi HI2 SREM, which is basically looking at high energy ions and protons. It's not looking at light, so it can't be a lens flare. And this is what Jake was railing about. We have a major craft sitting out by Venus. At least that's what they tell us. Is that Venus right there? Is that supposed to be Venus?
I think it's Earth, and I don't understand, like Jake is saying, can you put your cursor right below the little dot there on the left side of, there you go, right there. That's the object you're talking about, right, Jake? Jake?
Where's that? I see his cursor. Yeah, that's it.
Yep, that's it.
Right? No, that's Mars, supposedly. I'm talking about the very top of Venus at the 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. If you guys roll the footage back, that is not there the whole time. That pops up.
this black part is what I was thinking about, right? And I'll go back to that for a second so we can just talk.
Right. That's its shadow.
Do we have the
I believe
video?
that's its shadow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got the movie that Jake just did on this, so let me pull that up.
I believe that's the shadow of the object that appears actually
There
in
we
the
go.
beginning of the frame.
There we go. Yeah.
So
Watch what-
time out. Let's stop right here for a second. All right, so I
See?
have. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, this is the same thing we're just looking at, and basically here's the craft that we think is deploying some type of a shield or energy collection or whatever it might be. This is supposed to be Venus, isn't it?
You see,
Yes.
when I go over there and look at H1, and maybe I'm looking. Okay, so I guess we're looking out at the outer system, because go to the other one.
Yep. I know what you're thinking. I'm gonna go back to the.
Thank you.
Look at the labeled stuff, and that would be H1 stars,
Thank you.
and it would be 2016, and it would be.
Slow. There we go.
Here's today's images. I'll use 1024,
Yeah, there we go, right there.
and
Does this give us? There's Earth. It is Earth. I kept on saying it was Earth.
son of a pumpkin. Where's our
So-
shield on this thing?
Well, that's where I'm confused. So, all right. So, Jake, maybe you guys can help me. Are we looking to the left, or are we looking to the right? That's what I don't know.
Wow. I don't either at this point.
I don't. Look at that. Oh, okay. There we go. That's what we're looking at. All right, Steve, blow that up.
You won't see it.
That's your convergence. That's what we're seeing. Look at that. It's like a traffic jam, on the 10.
So basically, what I'm looking at is Neptune. Then
This is such not wanting me to look at this.
Look at this. What's happening? I've never seen this happen. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Look at that. All right, there we go.
it does this to me when I'm on the iPad.
We're not done yet. Wayne and I find ways around these things, right? Don't we, Wayne?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not excited about any of this right now. Oh,
All right, so this makes this. So what is the object then to the left? Right there. The little bright little guy in the Tetris.
Ooh.
this little booby.
Yeah, him. Who is he?
Huh.
You see, I kept on telling the doorman, check that
Yeah.
guy, man.
Another discovery on past work, everyone, on WSO with Wayne Steiger and Jake Riley.
But I'm seriously, I'm saying, hey, check that dude out. What is it?
And then we get our explosions down
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Then there's that.
No one has said anything about that, by the way.
No, they haven't. And that video has just gone viral, guys. I mean, let's see if I can get the analytics out here real quick. So anyway, let's pick it up back here again. So that's this is interesting, guys. This is really interesting.
I just couldn't figure out what that guy was. So
Really interesting, because there's our baffle, which is in the same relative position. Let's go back to the
and
beefle.
you can actually see the shield.
Here's the beefle. There's the beefle. I'm hungry. Can you tell? There you go. So there's our baffle. There's our baffle. There's our convergence of planets and other objects right there. Unbelievable.
And you can actually see it. I mean, you can actually see the shield. I've done this. You have to take it down, but that shows up over there on the left. but I don't know, and I know it's so close in the vicinity that it could be one of the planets. I get that, but it's not identified as one of the planets. But
Not even in their own pictures.
yeah, so
Okay.
that's what I kept. And again, no one is addressing what is the explosions, except for Dr. C. What's going on out of frame?
I know we just keep going back to this over and over again. We can't get away from it. It's just too compelling, guys.
And again, I'll say this for Yellow Rose, phenomenal footage. Just backs up everything we're seeing here.
Well, that's why Jake's on our show, man. We know that he has the gift.
You do, brother. I'm telling you.
It
fell in my lap. It literally just fell in my lap.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to
your
the club.
friends will begin to say, "You're changing, Jake."
Oh yeah.
And you'll look at them and you'll go,
Since this is the weekly update, I wanted to bring this one up from space.com.
Black Moon.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about this a second. I have never heard. I've heard once in a blue moon. I've heard of the harvest moon. I've heard, but now we got a black moon.
Well, there was a rap group called Black Moon in the early 90s.
Maybe that's
Were they any good?
You know what? Actually, they were. They were pretty smooth, real jazzy.
But Sarah sent this to us, and she wanted us to discuss it. And all I'm going to tell you is this goes right along with the new constellation in the zodiac that NASA foisted upon the world. And Wayne, just like you had predicted, all the true astrologers completely threw up on that. I went and did a little study. Yeah, I went and did a little study. The guys that really are into it and have algorithms and spend their whole life doing it. Yeah. Those people completely reject it.
Oh, this is truly this is well, we can't say this because this is a good program, but this is truly a mind bender. What they're trying to do here, and the implications are it's not just the fact that number one, NASA, a pseudo government agency, is now injecting itself into astrology. I find that totally bizarre, but all right. But you can't do that. You can't just suddenly come in and say, well, there's a 13th sign, because you have to go back thousands of years, and many of these charts just do that. And when I heard this, I said, this is insanity. And no one again, it's amazing how many people are still asleep. They just go skippity long like, oh, no big deal. Listen, if it doesn't impact my dinner tonight that I have to cook for the family and get the kids' homework, we get it. That's what they count on.
Yeah. And this is another example of that, as Sarah's trying to point out. It's just another part of what we've always seen in our life, which is a consistent progression of the lunar cycle. And then when there isn't a consistent progression of the lunar cycle, you've got space.com and all these mainline sites and publications and so forth explaining it away all the way up to USA Today. If there's a big halo, USA Today will have a little article saying those are ice crystals. Well, that's poppycock. That big halo that we were looking at just a few minutes ago, guys, Wayne Steiger proved that could not happen. The reason? Because the upper jet stream would not allow it. Isn't that true, Wayne?
Well, particularly here in the western United States, at the upper levels, that wind was coming directly over from the desert. It was coming directly out of the southwest. Come on. At which altitude, at which millibar meteorologist, what exactly altitude was the ice crystals forming at again?
They won't say.
They won't say.
Right.
Yeah. So anyone out there that wants to go ahead and show us at which millibar did these ice crystals form here, particularly in Denver, the other day when the huge halo was over here.
Right. Well, and again, let me just go ahead and show you guys what Wayne and I are talking about, okay? So that you know that we're not trying to be naysayers. if it's ice crystals that are causing those big red halos, we'd like to know that. But
Yeah.
let's just take a look at the 10 millibar level for a minute, okay, of the Earth. And let's say that where we just saw our last halo photographs from England, okay? Where can ice crystals form in this because it's moving too fast?
Well, exactly. And go down. I mean, this is what I don't understand. So at what millibar are we talking about?
Right. And when I get halo, and then if you go to these cameras down here, like in Australia, the ones that we see on the Skycam network, when we see these halos constantly, that's where we've got a big vortex right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, Dr. Beckwith, I don't care what anyone says, folks. When you start seeing the northern part of our jet stream being pulled down to the equatorial region, that is not due to the equatorial season. There's something going on.
But I thought our viewers would like to get a quick update on what the Earth patterns look like in the weather, Wayne. I mean, have you been tracking this lately? Do you have any thoughts on it you can share?
Yeah. I mean, right now, folks, that we're seeing some very early signs here in the Americas. It's kind of forbidding how dry it is. But again, if you do this on the equatorial view,
yep, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. And this is at the 250. I mean, there's a disruption. Look at what's happened. And you step back and you can see the southern part of our jet stream is in total disarray. And look what's forming right above us in the Americas. I think that this is going to become, this winter, I'm just going to put it out there for the record. I think what we're seeing right there, gentlemen, is going to become one of the biggest polar vortexes that we will experience here in particularly North Americas.
Yeah, so if we don't see some kind of disrupting event, regardless, guys, if you can buy extra fuel, like propane fuel, things like that, if you have the opportunity to do those types of things, I would just recommend have extra fuel.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
I think it's smart. It's very smart. It really is, folks. This is what I've read, that we're going to experience a brief cold spell, and then we're going to get the real sucker punch, fake you out. It's going to become very mild and warm. I think we can expect this probably around Thanksgiving. But then this is when things are going to be turned, and I think from what I've read, they're going to turn almost on a dime, and it's going to get brutal.
And guys, let me tell you, just kind of give you a little bit of a basic primer here and explain. There is supposed to be two distinct, a equatorial and polar flow to the jet stream, and those are supposed to be very distinct in the northern and southern hemispheres. You can see that is not the case. These dips like this, things like this, these little places where the atmosphere is now actually moving opposite of the jet stream, that's unprecedented. They understand that is unprecedented. We've never seen this before. That's what Paul Beckwith has been telling us. He's a paleontologist, meteorologist or something like that.
And I love that. I mean, it's the fact that he studies past patterns and begins to look at correlations. I mean, I have a great deal of admiration for the man.
Well, the fact that he's sticking his neck out there in spite of what we've heard are gag orders on NOAA scientists right now.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Right? These guys have a lot to risk. I get it, okay? We already took the plunge, guys, so it's like it's a little less painful for us, okay? But can you imagine having, worked your whole life in academia in, let's say, any of the sciences, planetology, whatever scientific discipline, and all of a sudden you start to bring together like the scientist up in Green Bay did, and he puts together this paper. I'm going to try to track him down and see what happened to him. But
yeah.
It's like you are risking, they literally watch their colleagues being murdered, Wayne and Jake.
Wow.
And I get it. I get why they don't step forward en masse. I really totally do empathize and forgive them. I do.
Yeah, most of them enjoy having their next meal.
Yeah, because the powers that be, you know, I'm just a dumbass that just rolls around and bobbles around and tries to figure out stuff. And I have a couple friends that are smarter than me, you guys, i.e., and you know, and we just try to make this adventure together to try to figure out what's going on. I think that we have a front row seat to the tribulation. That's what I think's going on here.
Well, you know, there is that theory in theology, in one particular belief, that really what we've seen is the tribulation unfolding over the last 2,000 years, that it's not a distinct, you know, 3.5 year period of time, that's in a constricted period, but the lead into it, who knows? I don't know.
Right.
Shall see signs and wonders in the heavens. I mean, you know, I keep on thinking that our perception as to what we see as real and how we each interpret that to be real is quite unique. And what I'm trying to get to is, how would we know, gentlemen, if they really did change the heavens?
Again, how do we know anything? I mean, again, this gets to the like deep philosophy. Okay, I get it. All right, we're back in philosophical Greek land. Okay, at least in this epic, and I'm not sure you can ever satisfactorily answer any of those questions anymore. I think that those questions can only be explored and discussed, but I think it would be the epitome of arrogance if any human being claims they know the answers to these secrets. I just don't think it's true.
I had a very wise woman tell me once. She says there are the absolutes, there are the debatables, and then there are the last character of the unknowns. And that every foundation, every theology is predicated on those three things. So we could say that this would either fall into the debatables or the unknowns. I remember when I hitchhiked across the United States in 1972, and part of my journey, I stayed in a commune right outside Taos, New Mexico. And, you know, I learned something. We as human beings can't exist in utopia. We can't. We'll find something wrong with it. And my point to what you were just saying, Steve, I don't know why that is. I don't know why we have to find such derision merely because of, yeah, you know, it's kind of, listen, folks, that's kind of me back in 72. And, but you learned a lot. And, you know, I wish we could. I mean, that's something I'm learning something. And that's why, Steve, every time we have our meetings here, is to...
This is Wayne. This is Wayne right here.
I thought this was Steve's high school pictures. I'm sorry.
So, you know, and if we just started being kind to one another, I'm serious. I mean, it's such a simple concept, but so difficult to implement and live. Yeah, that means it wasn't probably that luxurious.
Yeah.
You know, but we tried it. We really did. Our generation tried it, and unfortunately, it doesn't last.
Yeah, and again, the lessons that were learned, I think, are important ones that we should be learning. Should we have to go through some type of tribulation in the near future, right? I mean, we should be reaching back and talking to people and saying what went right, what went wrong, how can you avoid the conflicts and the problems that happened, and you know, those kind of things.
Yeah.
If there was one big lesson that came out of that commune movement that you might have learned, Wayne, in your experience, what was it?
Well, I know I found this, that within each person there is the true yearning to be accepted. And the other thing I found, that within all of us, there is that child. And it's that inner child that, and I'll just be very open here, that inner child in so many of us has been held back. And what I found, Steve, was that we're complex. We love people, but at times we also find the greatest disputes. And what I learned is that in a moment of crisis, we can come together. We can. And that's how I think folks, that this is the way I believe that if we could capture that enthusiasm, look at the child, look at those children. That is joy. That's what that is. That's uninhibited joy.
Right.
And we as adults, we're stripped of that. And I'll just say this, Jake and Steve, if we could capture that again and start teaching adults that again, I would say we could change things on a global presence really quick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, I'm glad we're talking about this for a minute, because I think this is a great way to close the show. So with these kids too. And the thing that occurred to me when I was looking at this little guy's face was, we really are spiritually and cosmically children.
Yeah.
And people, the human race needs to understand that. And here, let me give you an example. I would talk to a person that is a spiritual person. Let's say that they take it from a Judeo-Christian perspective, okay? And I would walk up to them and we would agree together that we know very, very little about what's, we know just a very, very small thread, a very small sliver of what there is to know. Like children, right? We just basically just got on the earth. We don't know anything. And they'll nod their head, and they'll nod their head, and they'll nod their head to me, right? And then I'll say something like, what do you think happened in Ezekiel? Do you think that was basically aliens coming down and hologram projecting, or what do you think that is? And then they'll call me a heretic in the same sentence. I said, did you forget about this conversation that we had just not more than 5 seconds ago where you said that we don't know anything? Yes. Well, then why can't we have an open discussion about possibilities with that, what is, like children do? Have an imagination. Look at it with an imagination. And everybody's looking for these Nibiru channels like WSO and yours and Jake's and looking for this like perfection and reporting. I said, it ain't going to happen, because this has to be a learning process. And learning processes are wrought with lots of mistakes and misdirection. What do you guys think?
Yeah, when you were talking, all right, so I just saw the movie, the Clone Wars, with Star Wars, and in the one scene, Obi Kenobi's trying to find the planet, and he goes in with Yoda, and the kids are there, the little children, and Yoda says, "Well, Master Kenobi's lost a planet, children. Where is it?" And the one child said, "Well, someone just erased it." That's what we have to get back to, folks. Is just the simplicity. Love one another, be kind. If you have a different opinion, you can express it, but don't criticize and don't judge.
No, and part of wonder is innocence, and we it's like an imbecile that has lost their innocence is a sad thing. Okay? Because wonder and imagination and innocence is a wonderful mixture for us to be teachable. Okay? And that's all I'm trying to say. And again, that's what I think is so fun about riding down this road together with you guys, is that I do feel like a kid again. I feel like a kid again in the sense that I am seeing things I cannot explain. I'm seeing things that cause me a sense of wonder and a whole new sense of enormity and just amazingness of this universe. And again, I don't mean to keep going on and on about that, but if you can't see it from that perspective as you start to become aware too, I think there's going to be some crazy that's going to come into you, because you need to see this also as an unbelievable event to have a front row seat to.
Yeah. Hey, Jake, are you there, buddy?
I'm here, bud. I'm here. I'm just listening in. Simplicity, Wayne, itself. I've been a musician for about 15 years. I've been in bands, and I've always told bandmates, let's keep it simple. We don't have to overthink things. People don't want complex, and it goes back to why not be able to have the questions like kids do. So Steve and Wayne, both good points.